Hey folks, this is Mari. I am the Partnerships Manager with Action Network. Welcome to our first Action Network 101 training. We're going to go ahead and get started. I know we're going to have some more folks join us as we go through. This is part of a new series of trainings that we're doing to provide our progressive partners with the resources they need to get the most out of our Action Network toolset. So I know we have a lot of different levels of Action Network expertise on today, and I just want to make sure everyone knows this is meant to be a getting started training. We are going to do some more 201 trainings in the next few weeks, and we also have a demo every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern if you want to see more of the basic functionality of the tools. So like I said, this is the first one that we're doing, so I definitely want feedback. Folks can reach out to me at mari@actionnetwork.org if they found things particularly helpful or they wanted to see something a little different. So for our agenda today, I sent it out in an email, but I just want to make sure everyone knows we're going to be going over a little bit of group management. I'm going to show folks how to upload a list and talk about some of the tips and tricks for doing that well. We're going to create an email wrapper, an email sign-up form, and embed that in our website. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about some more advanced features briefly. So I anticipate this taking about 45 minutes. Everyone is muted right now to reduce background noise, but there will definitely be time for questions at the end. You can also type questions into that chat window if you have them as we go through. If I think we're going to get to it later on in the demo, I will be skipping it for now. So great, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can get started. And just so everyone knows, we are recording this webinar today, so depending on kind of how the training goes and the quality of the audio, I will be sending it out to folks so they can review it as well. So a little backstory, this is my Puppy Pops for All group that I'm going to use for this training. I'm a big dog person, but I don't have a dog, which is a classic scenario. And I was at a coffee shop in DC called Pleasant Pops, and they have these great popsicles, and they also serve Puppy Pops. So I go there to work a lot because they get a lot of dogs coming in and out of the coffee shop. So my organization today is going to be Puppy Pops for All. So that's going to kind of be the basis as I build my group and create my email wrapper and my form, my sign-up form. So this is my group right here, Puppy Pops for All. It's the hub for all of the organizing efforts that I'm going to do moving forward. All of my actions live in this group. All of the emails that I've sent or will send live in this group. And one of the first things that you're going to do after you create a group is invite other folks from your team or that you're collaborating with to join you in the group. So I'm going to put in my personal email, mari.vongan@gmail, and send an invitation to become an organizer of my Puppy Pops for All group. And then you can see that I show up here as an organizer, and there are two different levels of content creators on Action Network. There are organizers and administrators. And administrators have access to the full groups list, so they can send out emails targeting any records that are in the group. They can pull reports on the full email list. They can issue refunds and view donation information. Organizers can only view the data on their personal list. So everybody who makes an account has a personal list on Action Network. If you sponsor actions or upload any contacts to that personal list, you will be able to target emails from there as well. So I can make this user an admin if I want them to have full access to the list. They can create actions that are sponsored by the group. So this is a great way to engage volunteers. If you want to add some volunteers as organizers, they can create fundraisers or events sponsored by the group so you can build up your group's list, but they can't access any of that pertinent data. So the next thing we recommend that folks do is upload their list. So I am going to show you what that looks like briefly. Here, we do have a sample file. So uploading lists, I should just note, I know most of the folks on the call are partners, but if you are not a partner, uploading a list is a partner feature. So we have a sample file that folks can download. I definitely recommend that if you're just getting started. The only two requirements for uploading lists are that they have to be a CSV and they have to include email addresses. So this is the sample that we provide for folks. You can see first name, last name, email fields are included, as well as some geographical information, state, city, address, and zip code. And then you can add as many custom fields as you want to upload. So maybe if I have a list of phone numbers attached to email addresses and I want to add those. If you have a custom field, maybe for my Puppy Pops for All group, I want to know if folks are dog owners or not, and I have that information on a list, I can upload that as a custom field as well. And like I said, the most common mistake is that folks are not uploading CSVs. So I recommend, if you're having any issues uploading your list, you resave it as a CSV in the CSV format, and then try uploading it again. And then when folks upload, a common question we get is, why is there a gap in the number of emails or contacts that I uploaded and the actual number that are now in my group? And this is because we deduplicate based on email address. So if you have any duplicates on your list, we won't add both of them, we'll only add one. And then we filter out any bad email addresses. So every list that you upload is likely to have a few bad email addresses, and those won't actually be uploaded. You can also add tags to upload. So depending on what you're working on, you can add a volunteer tag if you're uploading a list of volunteers, a staff tag. You can add tags based on issue area, council or committee tags. You have a lot of flexibility there, and that will be added to the entire list. So then you can target emails or pull reports on that tag moving forward. And then the last two things I want to mention is that you can mass unsubscribe and resubscribe folks via our uploads tool. And that's right here. So we recommend that you be careful about using any of these features down here and don't use them unless you know exactly what you're doing. And then once I upload my list, if I want to view the full list or view a list, the list of everybody who's in my group, I can pull a report. And you can pull reports from the Start Organizing menu. So that way you can download a CSV of everyone on your list and kind of see any custom fields that you want to see as well. Any questions about uploading a list that I can answer? Great, so we're going to keep moving forward. The second step that we recommend folks taking is creating an email wrapper for your group. So one of the primary uses for Action Network is sending out emails to your group. So, and this is a partner feature, so if you have partner capabilities, if you are a partner, we recommend that you create an email wrapper. And there are two ways that you can create email wrappers. And this is just something that will wrap your email in your own branding, so you can change the way that the footer and the header of your emails look in terms of colors and images. So there are two ways to create email wrappers. You can either hard code one. So if you have someone on your team who knows how to do HTML and CSS, they can create an email wrapper for you. But it's also very simple. You can just auto-generate one, so you don't have to have anybody on your team who knows how to code in order to create something that looks really good. So I'm going to auto-generate one today. So I'm going to press this auto-generate button, and I'm going to choose a file to upload. So I have this Puppy Pops logo that I created. I'm going to upload that and build my wrapper. Somebody asked just a question I saw about lists. Your list lives in your group. So that is one of the primary purposes of your group, is to hold your list. If you have more questions about that, I'm happy to answer them. So I'm going to rename my wrapper, my Puppy Pops wrapper. I'm going to make it via Puppy Pops instead of via Action Network. I'm going to say Puppy Pops for all. And then I'm going to send myself a test of my wrapper so I can see what it looks like. And that'll show up here in just a second. There we go. I can see what it looks like here. It looks a little big, so I'm going to go back to my wrapper. I'm going to change the pixel size here. So again, it looks a little for folks who don't know how to code, it can look overwhelming, but if you play around a little bit, it's not that hard to change up your wrapper in some small ways. So I changed my pixels to 400, and then I'm going to take a look and see what the sizing looks like now. So that looks a little better. So that's a great wrapper. I'm going to save that. And now whenever I send out an email from my group, this will be at the top. So this will kind of be the banner for the emails that I'm sending out. And I'll save. Any questions about email wrappers that I can answer? I'm not going to get too deep into how to customize your wrapper. This is something that we will likely do a 201 webinar on in the future, including how to customize your embeds. And we do have some help documents that I can refer folks to as well. Great, so sure. So viewer 14, if you want to have an offline, so that would be and if you want to add social media icons to the foot of your email, you would have to hard code those. We don't have anything on the roadmap for the future to change that, unfortunately. The next step is to create one of the first things that we recommend folks do. Even if you're coming on with the list, you want to give folks an option to opt into your list moving forward. So we're going to create a email sign-up form here using our form tool. So sign up for our Puppy Pops for All list. You can add a banner image here if you'd like to. That's optional. As with all of our actions, we try and keep things pretty simple. You can use HTML. We have some formatting options. You can add headers and quotes. You can also bold, italicize things, and add images and videos. So I'm going to add an image to my sign-up form. This is, I actually dog sat recently and took a dog to get a puppy pop. So this is a picture, an after picture. And I'm going to change up the width again and have it open in a new tab. And then I'm going to have it position over to the right. So you can save that. And then I have room over here to write about why this is important. You can important about our cause. And then we have the Attribution Center. Everyone should be pretty familiar with this. I'm going to make it sponsored by my Puppy Pops for All group. So again, everybody who signs up for my email list will be added to my Puppy Pops for All group, and I can target an email from there on those folks. If you want to, you can have an individual creator. I generally recommend that you don't unless you're working with someone who has some name recognition or perhaps a victim of a campaign that you're working on. All of our actions have this goal slider here, so you can remove the goal slider if you don't want it to be outward facing. Otherwise, it's designed to show positive momentum, so it'll start out at 25 as the goal, and then it'll go up from there as you have more folks signing on. My form heading will be sign up here. First name, last name, email, and zip code are kind of the standard fields for forms. You can make any of them required. So maybe I want first name and last name for sure. I can make zip code not required or make it required or remove any of these questions. And then if you want to capture additional form questions, you can do that as well. So we have a pre-built question tool here. So I can, if I have questions that I'm asking again and again, maybe street address, I can just grab that from my pre-built questions and add it into my form. Otherwise, I can create a question on the spot very easily. So maybe I want to ask folks, are you a dog owner? So this is going to be saved as a custom field in any reports that I pull. I want to know what breed, so that'll be the placeholder, and maybe I want to make this required. So if I save that, I'm not going to ask for street address in this question. I'm going to save my form, and my dog owner question will be at the bottom of my form here. So you can use custom form HTML if you, again, have that coding knowledge, but it isn't necessary to add questions and to capture more data. I'm going to customize this, join the team, and then save and go to the next step, which is the thank you page. So I'm going to add an administrative title to this. It's going to be my sign up form. I'm going to keep the language in English, but if you're working with a number of different constituencies with different language preferences, you can change the language to Danish, French, Portuguese, or Spanish. So maybe if I'm working with a lot of Spanish speakers, I want to have a sign-up form in English and one in Spanish. And that just changes all of the language here that you can't edit yourself. So thanks for your support, all of the share options. Then I can provide additional instructions. I'm just going to say thanks for joining. And you can see the share sidebar here. So all of this is customizable, and I'm going to show you how to do that in just a second. For now, we're going to save and publish our form, and we'll be brought to the Action Manage page. So this is what it looks like across all of our actions. We can take a look at our form, we can edit it, we can edit or add tags. This is a recent thing, you can edit the URL. So the URL used to be set when you published the action. So you can see here, sign up for our Puppies for All list. Now you can edit it to change it to something else if you'd like to, and then we can also unpublish the group. So we can take a look at what it looks like here. We have our image of Rosie at post enjoying a puppy pop. Everything is where it should be. There aren't any surprises about the layout. I'm recognized, as everyone should know, across the Action network of groups. You'll be recognized so folks don't have to input all of their information. They'll put their dog breed in if they're a dog owner and join the team. Most folks will want to embed actions in their own sites, and there are a couple of different options in terms of different layouts and styles. So I grabbed the embed code there, and I'm going to paste it onto our test site and take a look at the results. So this is what it looks like with, and no customization, this is just our standard layout. I could join the team and I'd be brought to that thank you page within this testing site. But we do have a couple of options. I'd encourage folks to play around with our layouts. I'm going to show you what it looks like to do a layout styles only, our full layout. So we can grab the new embed code that we generated, paste it into our website, and then take a look at what that looks like. So you can see that looks different. Maybe you like the look of that a little better. The image looks better here. Have more information, so the goal slider is present. And again, if they click join the team, they would be brought to the thank you page within this website. So you can use CSS. I'm not going to go into what it looks like to use CSS right now, but I can show you a great example. This is one of our, this is our embed code here. This is one of our actions in the All of Us homepage. So you can see they've customized it using CSS. It's centered on the page. They've changed the colors and the look of the widget to blend in better with their site. So I have some help documents that I'm going to send out to folks. And again, we are planning to do a webinar training on how to customize your widgets. But if you don't have anybody on your team who knows how to, you can just copy and paste it from what we generate. Any questions about how to embed actions or how to create an email sign-up form? Great, so I'm not going to go through everything for the form. Note that you can really easily create an email or a report based on your action takers. We recommend that everyone take a look at the response options for your email sign-up form. So you can, if you want to redirect folks away from that thank you page that we automatically send folks to, you can do that. You can send folks maybe to a donate page or to another page on your website. And then every time someone signs up for your newsletter, we'll send them an auto response email. So you can turn that off if you don't want us to send it, but we definitely recommend that you customize it. So here we go. Thanks for taking action. So I can say thanks for signing up for our newsletter. Ups for all. Yeah, so take a look at that. If you want to get a notification every time someone submits the form or signs up for your newsletter, you can add your email address here. That's a way to kind of stay in the loop about new folks on your list. And then we also have sharing options, and we definitely recommend that folks customize these. So for Facebook, we could change this to, I just signed up, Puppy Pops for all list. I mean, get cool content. So if I wanted to choose a share image here, I could again, maybe I want to pick that, choose that photo of Rosie. And then anyone who shares the action right here via the Facebook button, well, this will automatically generate for them. So I'm also going to change the Twitter. Maybe we want to say I'm on the adding my own Twitter handle here. You can be too. And then I link to my sign-up form there. And then we also have some email friend language. I recommend that folks take a look at that and make any customizations necessary. We generate this from whatever you put in the description of your action, so it doesn't always make complete sense. And then I know I got 2 questions there. So I showed everyone how to embed a sign-up form on a website, and I showed you how to embed it in a testing site that we have. So you would have your own website, so whether it's WordPress or Drupal or Squarespace, and you would be able to embed your sign-up form in your website. So if you're sharing the action on Facebook or social, you would want to share the direct link. And we do have some integrations with some social tools that I can talk about at the end. But yes, you would not copy and paste the embed code. You would just paste the URL. So the direct link to the action, which you can find right here. Any other questions about embedding actions that I can answer? And I just want to make absolutely clear, the embed code is used for embedding in a website. So that would be your own website. So you can't log into Action Network and create your own website. The embed code is there to make sure that you can still share your actions very easily across different sites. And then one of the last things that I wanted to show folks how to do, and this is a little bit more, great, this is a little more advanced. We have a new tool that's called our ladders tool. And this is an automated email tool. So you can send your activists down different paths based on their engagement with you. And it can be used in a lot of different creative ways. But I think when you're just starting out on Action Network, a great option is to create a welcome series. So everyone who subscribes to your list will be added to this welcome series ladder, and you can customize this in any way that you want. So the ladder, which is based on the ladders of engagement theory, each action has a rung, and each rung has a trigger. So for a welcome series, my trigger is going to be subscribed. So anybody who is subscribed to my list will be added to this ladder and proceed automatically from there. So from there, I'm going to add a wait step. So this can be whatever you want it to. I'm going to choose a 1-day wait step. So folks who subscribe, whether they're signing a petition or signing up for an event or donating money, they will be added to this ladder. They will wait for 1 day, and then we will send them an email welcoming them to our list. You can just write the email right here. My subject will be welcome to Puppy Pops for All. And you have the same options here as when you are sending out a regular email. So if you wanted to add an image, add a link when you're sending it out to folks, you can do that. I'm going to save this. And then you can see that folks will, anyone who subscribed will wait a day, they'll receive the email, and then they'll exit the ladder. So like I said, you can get more complicated with ladders. So you can use them to create reactivation campaigns or full automated campaigns. You can even make your welcome series more complicated if you want to maybe have them enter your ladder upon subscription, wait for a day, receive an email, and then maybe receive another email asking them to take a specific action. You have that option. But again, a simple welcome series is a great place to start when you're just becoming an Action Network partner or getting used to the ladders tool. I can just save and publish this, and it will be active. Any questions about creating a welcome series ladder? We do have a great help document that goes through the steps to creating a welcome series, as well as a reactivation campaign and a automated campaign. So I can send those out to folks after the webinar. Sure, so if we wanted to, you can't import folks into your ladder, but you can add different triggers. So maybe folks who were subscribed via a certain action, or if I want to add we can look at the different trigger types here, received a specific email, so you could target that upload in an email, and then everybody who received that email would enter the ladder. You could, again, took any action, could be a trigger for the ladder or taking a specific action. So these are all the trigger types for entering the ladder. Nope, so there's no limit to the number of lists you can upload into your list, into your group, apologies. But everyone should know by now that your Action Network contribution, monthly contribution, is based on your email volume. So if you're sending out a large volume of emails, then your rate will go up. Yep, so every time you're uploading a list, and there are your folks who are already on your list and you're adding new information, you'll be asked if you'd like to merge the record with the new one and what information you'd like to keep. There's also an option to clear all of your old values when you're uploading a new list, if you'd like to only have the new information that you're uploading and kind of clean your list a little bit. So there's some options there. So the next steps, if you're just getting started on the Action Network, would be to create your other actions. So if you have a volunteer sign up, you could use a form for that, creating your fundraising page. And we work with WePay and Stripe as payment processors, and they're both very easy to set up. And then, like I said, we have integrations with CRMs like Salesforce and SMS and social tools. So we have a list of integrations on our website that folks should take a look at. But then you would just start sending out your emails and starting to organize. And so I really encourage everyone to play around with the features. It's very intuitive. Once you get started, you're not going to break Action Network by playing around. and look at our help documents, because we have a ton of help documents that have been written both by our Director of Technology and different partnerships managers that go into very great detail how to take action, how to create action, how to upload your list, all the different features that Action Network has. And so that's everything that I had for today. I'm going to send a follow-up email with more details, and we will, as I said, be hosting more trainings in the future. So please look out for those emails, some 201 trainings. If there's anything you'd specifically like to see, I'd be happy to field those requests as well. So you can reach out to me at mari@actionnetwork.org. I'm happy to stick around and answer any questions that folks have. Yes, and so viewer 35 is asking about targeting folks in emails. So we have a number of different targeting options and filters that you can look at. So you can target uploads, you can target actions, you can target custom fields. But yes, if you have 100 people on your list, you can just send them to 50. You just have to figure out how you want to segment them out. So either you upload a list of 50 of them and you add a tag when you upload, and then you just target that email. Or if there's some other distinguishing feature of those people, maybe where they live, what their zip code is, an action they've taken, you can do that as well. And nope, so I'm on a Mac right now. I don't have any problems in utilizing Action Network. So we very purposefully don't provide help for folks on messaging because we are not consulting. We are just trying to provide really great tools so that folks can mobilize and organize their communities and networks. You can't manually add donations. So you can, I guess, you can't upload a list of prior donations, but if you have someone who wants to donate with you on the phone and give you their credit card information, you can just enter that into the donation form, but that would be manually. Andy, let me know if you have other questions about that. So when you are adding hyperlinks to emails, the challenge that most folks have is when their user ID is attached to the link. So if your user ID, and not everybody who has an account on Action Network has a user ID, if that's attached to the link that you're sending out, and you can see that it'll be CAN and a series of different numbers and letters, you won't be able to send out the email. So what I recommend that folks do if they're having trouble with links, and you can, if you have a more specific question, I'm happy to field that, is to look at the HTML of the email and see if you can locate the CAN. I just usually search for CAN and then delete that code from the email. Yep, so it's easy, viewer 6. If you have 3 different groups in MailChimp, you can upload them and keep them separate using tags. So you would upload them separately and have a tag for each one based on how you want to segment them out. And sure, so I talked briefly about how to add administrators at the beginning of the call. So you do that via the Invitations tab. So I would add the email here, send the invitation, and they would show up in the Organizers tab, and then I would upgrade them to Administrator from Organizer from there. So viewer 24, if you're specifically trying to recruit activists to create one-time events, I would actually look at our event campaign tool instead of the organizer functionality. And I'm happy to send out a link there, but if you just search through our help documents for event campaigns, I think that could be a better option. You will be able to provide different host instructions for folks who are hosting events, but you can't do that through the organizer functionality. If you had an organizer create an action that was sponsored by the group, you could go in and edit that action after it had been created, but there's no way to set a template unless you're sending that out to folks individually. So viewer 50 asking about targeting people on social media. We don't have any sort of social functionality. It's outside of those share options that we have when folks take an action. So we have integrations with Attentively and Action Sprout. So those are in our help docs if you have more questions about that. But if you want to do kind of a deeper dive into social using Action Network, that would be the way to do it. Yes, so you can add tags to a report as well. So you can target a report and then add a tag to the report results. So that would be another way to do that, viewer 30. Yes, so when a recurring donation is failing, we will retry 24 hours later. So they'll get an initial email, and you will as well, saying the donation failed for this amount from this email. 24 hours later, we'll retry the donation to see if it works. And if it doesn't, both the donor and you get that email. So we have two different payment processors. We have both Stripe and WePay. So none of the actual credit card information or any sort of private information is held in Action Network. That's all held in WePay or Stripe. But we set up our integrations with Stripe and WePay so that you create an account and then you don't really have to log in ever again. So you can do everything like downloading a fundraising report, editing recurring donations, all of that through Action Network. So here I can download a fundraising transaction. If I want to edit a donation, either make it recurring or cancel it, I can do that by searching for the individual in the Search and Add Activist tool, and then canceling that or editing their donation from there. Yes, so you can embed a donation page in your website, just like you can embed, I showed you how to embed an email sign-up form. You can do the same for any of our actions. So all of our actions come with embed code that we generate, whether it's a fundraiser or an event, and that can be embedded in your own site. And yes, so we do store information on open rates and action rates. So for instance, all of my emails are kept in my email tab. And if I manage them, I'd be able to see more of this information. But you can see a quick snapshot of the stats here. So open rates, click rates, if I do any subject testing, all of that is captured in Action Network. And the same is true of action. So I can see the number of action takers for all of the forms that I've created. So you can view, just kind of keeping going on the thread, you can view the individual emails that a certain record has opened when you search for them via the Search and Add Activist tool. You can't pull a report on activists and see every single email that they've opened or every single action that they've taken, but you can pull reports on specific actions or specific emails that have been opened or clicked on. Yes, so we did just talking about email forwards. We actually just worked on fixing this. So now when somebody forwards an email, so if they get an email, so if John Doe gets an email and John forwards it to Sarah, now just in the last month, Sarah will be able to click on the link. So it won't, we did some tech stuff. Our director of technology sent out an email about it. If you have more questions, I'm happy to answer them offline. But we did recently just address this issue. Yeah, I'm glad it's been fixed too. Great. Are there any other questions that I can answer today? Sure. So we have a I like that term, the mother-daughter structure. We have the network tool, and this is for larger groups, so the minimum is actually $100 per month, just to put that out there. It's a national group has child groups, or a mother group has daughter groups. I like that. And it's a federated organizing structure. So any data flows up from child group to parent group. So if your local chapter, somebody signs a email sign-up form, that data would flow up to the parent group, and they would be able to target a report or an email on that data. And then the parent group is able to syndicate content down. So if they have a petition or an email that they want their local child groups to send out, they could send a draft down to their child groups. Their child groups would be able to customize the data and then send it out to their list. So viewer 35, I'm not quite sure what you're asking here. If you want to give a little bit more context on your question, I'd be happy to answer or to talk about that more. So if you're interested in a network, like I said, it is for larger groups. So the minimum is $100 per month, and that covers a specific volume. You can reach out to us. We have to set it up specially. That we have to set the network up especially for you. So you would email us at partnerships@actionnetwork.org if you feel like you have a good use for a network. I'd say that we recommend that most folks don't start out with a network. They start out just with a group and have their local groups be their own groups, because we find that folks end up paying for functionality that they don't necessarily have a need for. You can later create a network and add those local groups into your larger network by editing them, so you wouldn't have to start from scratch. Sure. So I'm not quite sure what you're talking about here with affiliations, but we do have something that's called a referrer code. So let me know if this isn't what you want to hear about, but each group on Action Network has a referrer code that is automatically generated. And it's something like group and then whatever your group name is on Action Network. And this is a great way to share lists and work collaboratively together. So for instance, on my action, my sign up form, or maybe I have this volunteer form, someone I'm working with, another organization, can share this volunteer form with their group's referrer code attached to it, and you don't have to be a paying partner to utilize this. And anybody who signs up to volunteer with the referrer group's code attached to it would be added not only to my sponsoring group, but also to the referring group. And all of the referring groups and referrers show up here. So this happened for the Women's March. There are a lot of different organizations supporting all of the sister marches and the Women's March as a whole. And so they were able to copy the embed code for the Women's March with their referrer code attached to it, attached to the embed code, put it into their own website. And then anybody who signed up with their referrer code attached to it to attend a march would again be added to their list, as well as the sponsoring women's group list. So this is it's a really great tool. We don't see it used enough, I think, but it's an example of how Action Network was built by campaigners. And part of the reason we were built was to address this issue of how hard it is sometimes to work in collaboration with other groups while we're all trying to still build our list. Yes, that's correct. So 4 groups working together on an event could share a single sign-up form. There would be one sponsoring group, and then each of the other groups would have to have their referrer code. And again, it's automatically generated. It's not something you just make up. Sometimes folks get confused about that. They would attach the referrer code to the group, and you can actually select that right here. So I'm an admin of a number of different groups, so I can select the group that I want to add my referrer code to, maybe Whale Lovers United, and then that'll automatically attach the referrer code here. So I can show you what that looks like here. So you can see refer, and then it's the group Whale Lovers United. So again, it's automatic, and you can, a great place to find it is just once you've taken an action on the share sidebar there. No problem. Any other questions that I can answer? Yes, so you have to be an admin of a group to use the refer code. You also have a personal refer code, so you can see I have my personal list refer code, so I could add my personal list refer code to the end of a link and again be able to add that data to my personal list. Okay, so why don't you reach out to me directly and we can have a conversation about it. I'm happy to help you get started. Once you get started with the network, it's pretty intuitive, but I definitely understand it's a little bit more complicated than just a regular partnership. So if you want to reach out to me, Viewer 12, we can talk a little bit more about that and what that would look like. No problem. Any other questions from folks that I can answer? No, so you only need to be an admin of your group. So if you want to give your group's refer code to other groups, you would just grab it here. So I could see my Puppy Pops for All refer code, and I could just copy this refer code here and be able to send it to folks. But I really recommend make sure that you're actually copying it, because we've had folks go through these big processes with refers and the refer code actually isn't correct. Any other questions that I can answer? All right, so I am going to jump off. If you have feedback, you can email me directly. If you have questions about partnering, you can email us at partnerships@actionnetwork.org. And then if you have any questions about any tech questions about how to use the tools, you can email us at support@actionnetwork.org. And like I said, stay tuned for more announcements about upcoming trainings, and thank you so much for being on today.